so glad that you're here.
We're back.
Should we play the joke again?
I mean,
Hey,
Rob,
you've changed.
Things are different. A lot of sunlight out there this week.
Yeah, got a good tan.
Got my tan. We'll see if it wears off next week.
Wes is standing in and going to help us out. So we're glad that you're all here. We've got some, I had one thing I wanted to share.
Yeah, please.
Right? If you guys don't, well, by now you probably know our story, Matt and I, right? I went to work at A.L. Williams back in 1986 for television when Art was still there, right? And then the very next year, my boss thought I might need an intern. And I was like, I don't need an intern, I'm good. She goes, no, you're getting an intern. So if we could show the graphic, you guys can see who my intern was.
Talk to me now. Talk to me.
That's Mom sent me this morning, and there's our fateful day.
Now listen,
right?
I'm not familiar with Mick Jagger, but if I was, would that be what Mick Jagger would be like?
Well, in my eyes,
okay,
right?
Party in the back.
Okay, now.
So,
okay,
that's my
I like the
husband.
way you work, Matt. I like the way you work.
It was my husband, Matt, 31 years
31
marriage
years.
later.
Wow.
Worked out pretty good.
That's
Yes, I did need
amazing.
an intern.
So
that's
A.L.
all.
Williams did exist.
He did. It did exist,
Wow.
and we did really work there.
That's a big deal.
So, all right, what do we got coming up?
All right, well, we got some great things coming up. So we got Whitney and Rob Cooper, we got Andy Young, we got the Power of Three, we got the Rally. I mean, we got Hot Twos, Keystone. So I mean, we got all that in a bag of chips. I don't know if they still
Bag of
say that, but
chips. That's a good one.
That's a good one, right?
is
But
good.
they used that 10 years ago.
That's
I'm gonna
okay.
just bring it back. Things come back
Yes,
around
they
at
do
some point.
cycle back.
Yeah.
Yep. Good job.
So we're excited about that.
What did you say?
I said, will the mullet come back?
No,
Yeah.
let's hope not.
It's just
Not do
amazing
that
the
one.
things. Yeah, just not do that one. So we got that, and then then we'll have the social graphic later on. So we're just excited. It's action packed.
There it is.
Oh yeah, there it is. So you guys, go to Twitter, Instagram, hashtag SNSD Factory.
Oh.
Right, and then do the Facebook mention at Let's Get Bigger, Go Home. So we got that going on. So just make sure, because we want to make sure our picture, we're everywhere. So they know that this is truly where A.L. Williams is, and this is where we build. So that's going to be fun.
So for those of you who are less tech savvy, you can always text.
That's true.
Old-fashioned text, 404-465-1830. If you send pictures or whatever you send, we will get those up on the wall. You can go check the wall at Get Bigger, Go Home anytime. It's up there running under social wall or social feed or something, one of the tabs up top.
And then the graphics come up. We get a chance to show those from time to time, and
it's kind of cool.
get your little 5 seconds of fame. So that's pretty cool.
Exactly. And
right?
if you watch long enough.
Yeah, it'll roll through.
All right. Let's kick off the rally. Trish has cleared off the board. Oh, wait a minute, I skipped something. Sorry. Hey, did you promote anybody this week? We'd like to hear all about it.
Yeah.
Go to getbiggergohome.com/downloads promotions and put your stuff in there. We'd like to call their names out and recognize their hard work. Now we can go on to the rally.
Now we go on to the rally. So here's what we got. So RVPs only. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to put your last name and the number of people that you have. RVPs only. So start getting them in. Trish, she loves that stuff. She knocks it out the park for us. And so we just want to see, man. We had the winner last week. I know we'll show that. And so everyone's gunning
Who
for
was
it.
the winner?
The winner was, there she is. Belda Rubio with Team Bold. It's a big deal. She rallied. And, Walter Charles, boom, got him, right?
Yep.
Got him.
Yep.
And so we're excited to see what this week. So competition's heating up. And so we're excited about that. So that's going to be real good.
So one more time to the rally graphic, right? RVPs only. You're going out as an RVP. You're counting your people. You're putting in the word or the RVP, then your last name, and then the number of people that you have engaged. And if you're just an RVP with just you,
Right.
that's okay.
Still
This is
text
how
in.
we get started.
Right.
Right?
It starts with
Text
one.
in starts with one.
Absolutely.
That's all it takes. So
Absolutely.
go ahead and text in. We want everybody engaged. And then a little later in the show, we'll read every RVP's name that has texted us.
Nice.
So we did that. Oh, I think we're ready for a video.
All right.
So tonight, Art is going to talk about one of the most fascinating things, and that is the power of three.
Now, how do you expand? Think about this now. Because some of you are just getting promoted RVPs, you know, you're just building a base shop, how do you expand from 85 people in one city, in one state, to 225,000 people in every city, in every state, in less than 12 years? How in the living dog crap do you do that? A.L. Williams' plan was to grow by multiplication. See, I want to tag this thing in a little bit different way. I want to talk to you about the power of three, just the power of three. See, A.L. Williams was built by recruiting best friends. You know, we were a warm market company. We didn't believe in knocking on a stranger's door, calling a stranger on a cold telephone. I never did any of that kind of crap. You know, most people fear when they look at an opportunity like Primerica today and they say, well, I don't know 50 people. I don't know 100 people. I don't know 500 people. And they're scared to try. Well, see, all you got to know is three. All you got to know is three. Let me tell you about us, the difference in us and Prudential and the other trash value companies. The life insurance industry was built back in 1977 like this, and it's still built today like this. They've got a manager, and then they've got a sales force. The manager does all the recruiting and all the training. So if he goes out and recruits 3 people, and he does that 10 times, that's 30 people. But A.L. Williams grew by building teams, giving you a chance to go out and build your own team. And so if you go out and recruit 3 people, and you give your 3 people a chance to recruit 3 people. If you go recruit 3 people and you do that times 10, that's 59,000 people. Folks, that's how we did it. We did it by multiplication. Now that's numbers on a page. So let's see if I can do this for you now. Let's see if I can tell you how it really worked in the real world, a real live story, how multiplication really works, just the power of 3. In 1970, ITT moved me from Columbus, Georgia to Atlanta, Georgia to open a new office. I didn't know anybody in Atlanta, zero. So I sit there and I'm thinking, I said, well, I'm a warm market guy. I'd rather dig ditches than go out there and knock on a stranger's door and call a cold stranger on a telephone. I ain't gonna do that. So I'm thinking about my warm market. How am I gonna make this warm market? I don't know nobody in Atlanta. So how in the dog crap am I gonna get in a warm market if I don't know nobody? If your warm market is just this big circle, at the top of that warm market, the hottest part of the warm market where you want to build your career is best friends. And then you go down from best friend to your golf buddies and your hunting buddies, and you're getting cooler now as you go down. And parents of kids that play Little League baseball, your kids' Little League baseball and stuff like that, people you go to church with, people you work with, neighbors, all that's getting colder. And then you get to the bottom of your warm market, and it's just people in your same occupation. Now, when I use a word like occupation for you basketball coaches out there, that means the kind of work you're in, okay? And so I started thinking about occupation, and I say, well, I'm a football coach. I know coaches. I know how coaches think. I know how coaches talk. So Georgia put out a coaches directory. Angela, when we came to Atlanta in 1969, we bought a home in Snellville, Georgia, about 30 minutes outside of Atlanta. I took a map and I took a 30-minute drive, and I took a circle, went 30 minutes from my house, and there were 21 high schools. I wrote 21 letters to the head football coach, and I said, Coach, my name is Art Williams. I don't know if you have heard of me, but I was coaching at Kendrick High School, and while I was coaching there, I started a part-time job, and over the first 2.5 years, I saved over $42,000, and it changed my life. I've gone full-time with ITT now, and I've come to Atlanta to open an office, and I'm looking for coaches that would like to work part-time for me. I sent out 21 letters. I don't like to do that. That's the coldest end of the warm market, right? But I didn't know nobody. And I was determined not to have to go out and pass out business cards in a shopping mall and all this kind of crap. I don't believe in talking to strangers. So I gave them about 3 or 4 days, and not one single head coach answered my darn letter. So I decided to ride about a half a mile away to South Gwinnett High School, which was in Snellville, Georgia. Coaches are always having salespeople come in trying to sell you new uniforms and helmets and shoulder pads and crap like that. And so I go to coach, the head football coach's name is Bobby Johnson. I go knock on his door and introduce myself. I said, Coach Johnson, I'm Art Williams. I wrote you a letter. Do you remember getting it? And he said, yes. And I said, you know, I'm looking for coaches. I got the greatest part-time opportunity in the world. It's just unbelievable. It changed my life. He said, Art, let me tell you something. I just can't sell nothing. I'm just not interested. But I threw that letter in a trash can, and our basketball coach came in, and he said, what's that? What's that? And he said, I showed him that letter, and he said he might be interested. His name was T. Faircloth. The first guy I recruited was T. Faircloth. He played basketball at Auburn. The first 3 guys he introduced me to were teammates at Auburn: Randall Walker, Bob Buson, and Bob Miller. And from those 3 guys, we built, listen folks, from those 3 guys, now this is real life. This ain't crap. This ain't pie in the sky. This actually happened. From that one part-time guy that retrieved a letter out of a trash can that introduced me to 3 of his teammates, we built over 4,000 RVPs, over 100,000 licensed people in every city, every state, in Canada, in Puerto Rico. You know something else funny about that story? This power of 3. I had 21 coaches that I'm a worker. I worked my butt off 20 years in this business, you know? And every time I'd go recruit a coach, he'd take me to 3 or 4 of his friends, and he'd take me to 3 or 4 of his friends. I found myself in Dallas, Texas, or Los Angeles, California, or up in New Hampshire, or in Virginia. And 20 years later, I could never get to but 12 of those coaches. Ain't that something? That's the power of multiplication.
All right. Hope everybody's doing great out there. Fired up. I'm coming to you from Delaware, the great wonder first state. And wanted to say, little Andy watches the show sometimes. He hears the intro music come on, and he goes pop, pop, and wonders why I never say anything. So I'm going to say hi, little Andy. I don't know if he's up right now. He's got a little sister coming any hour. I don't know, it might be a day or two. But anyway, hello, little Andy. Anyway, hope everybody's doing great out there. Art Williams, what an amazing thing. I don't know how many people can talk about living dog crap. I mean, that's like, Art Williams is just one of a kind. And he's just an amazing individual. And you think about, as he built a business, he talked about the power of 3. One of the things that he talks about all the time is embracing the repetition. And that's one of the things that you got to do is understand, I don't care what, kind of thing you're going to do. I don't care if it's dance. I don't care if it's music. I don't care if it's academic. I don't really care what you're looking at. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to make a decision that you got to embrace the repetition if you're going to get good at anything. It's perfect practice makes perfect. I could go out and hit golf balls, and I could hit a golf ball and I can play fairly well for somebody who doesn't play very often. But I can go out and hit a golf ball in practice, and I could hit it probably 100 yards further into the woods, But I got to get somebody that can help me and maneuver so I can get a better swing. And that's why coaches and mentors are so critical in anything that you do. Bob Turley, what a great mentor in Primerica. I mean, one of the original founders, and just, a guy who knew how to do it big. And it's a mindset, a total mindset. People talk about what it takes to win and, what they're going to do to win. And I want to win. And, everybody talks about winning, but there's a difference between talking about winning and winning. And Bob Turley went in for the Orioles. I tell this story all the crap. I tell it almost every presentation. Bob Turley goes to the Baltimore Orioles, and they weren't that good, but he gets traded to the Yankees, and the Yankees won more World Series than anybody. Gets up there, he's got a dog in it at the first training camp at Fort Lauderdale, and Mickey Mantle comes up and says, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" He's like, "Well, I'm a pitcher. I only play like every 4 or 5 days." He goes, "I don't care. Part of our compensation here is winning the World Series." winning the World Series. And that's a different mindset. And that's what you got to be thinking about is if you're going to build a business, you have to choose to win. I mean, this is your World Series. This is your Super Bowl. And, I can't imagine that people talk about, concussion. Well, they already have proven, with the poll that, something like 99.5% of the players in the NFL, if they had a concussion, they would play with the concussion if it was the Super Bowl. And when I look at the extreme fighting and UFC and all that crap, I don't see any of that stuff there. But I mean, at the end of the day, what level do you want to play at? And this is your Super Bowl. And I mean, nobody's going to hit you in the head. We haven't had one example of anybody getting knocked down in a presentation. So if you choose to play here, choose to win. And that's why you go to Get Bigger, Go Home. And people ask me all the time, well, what do you do? Or will you coach me? And it's funny, I got a couple people right now, I think it's 4 of them that asked me to coach them, and I told them, okay, I want you to get on there. I want you to go through your 2-minute story, get your 2-minute story down, your 20-minute presentation down, and make sure you got that thing tight and not long. It's very simple. And then get back with me, and I haven't heard from any of the 4 of them. I mean, that happens to me all the time. It's so easy to turn people around. Just say, hey, go do a little bit of work. Make a decision to go, embrace the repetition and get good at it. And most of them you don't even see anymore. And so it's crazy to me that people that say they want to win. I tell people all the time, if you're not doing what I tell you to do, don't tell anybody that I'm coaching you. I mean, I'm not your coach. There's 2 kinds of coaches. Coaches have been fired. Coaches who haven't been fired yet. Old Dan Quinn for, the Falcons got fired this past Sunday, right after the game. But it was 4 years ago. They're in the Super Bowl beating the living crap out of the Patriots in the third quarter. 3 minutes, 23 seconds left by 25 points. I mean, he's that close. That close. I mean, I don't know how you can get any closer than being up by 25 points. You'd almost have to script it to figure out how to lose, which maybe that's what they did. I don't know. But I mean, you win a Super Bowl, you're good for the rest of your career, pretty much. I mean, yeah, down the road you can, you lose a few and you get fired. I mean, you get that championship, man. They know you as a Super Bowl champion. That's one of the, the thing on like Dan Marino or people like Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley never won a championship. Dan Marino never won a championship. And that's one of the things they talk about all the time. They give them crap about. Well, this is your championship. This is your Super Bowl. This is your opportunity to go get big and do something great. And a lot of you just kind of messing around with it. And I don't know how you can mess around with that. If you're going to play music, I remember we practiced, man. We would practice. We had a concert. That the concert was, maybe an hour long, an hour and 15 minutes, however long. You got 7, 8, 10 songs in there that you're playing. Some of them pretty long. Then you practice and practice, for 2 or 3 months, and it's like boom, boom, boom. Hey, yeah, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. And we never ever played any song ever through. Even a dress rehearsal, they stopped a couple of them, But you go to the concert, you can't stop it. You practice football between the gym, lifting the weights, running the plays, going through your 2-a-days, and going through practice every day. I mean, you're out there just going and going and going and going and going, but they can't stop it during the game. They stop it all the time during practice. And that's why perfect practice makes perfect. So you got to make a decision, what level do you want to play at? Choose to win at a high level. And I always equate it to chicken soup. I was telling this to an attorney yesterday. The bottom line is that chicken soup, you boil a couple chickens, you retain your broth, you take the meat off the chicken, put it in, and put 3 or 4, recognizable vegetables in there. And pick a pasta, a noodle, type of noodle, not 10 noodles, 10 different kinds of noodles, a noodle or rice or potatoes, not all 3, not 3 starches. You pick, corn and whatever people are going to agree on, 3 or 4 dadgum recognizable vegetables. But if you get a committee together, it's like, well, who likes okra? No, I like okra. What do you like, fried okra or slimy okra? Well, most people say they like fried. We're not putting fried okra in soup. Who likes mushrooms? Not me. No fungus among us. But at the end of the day, some people like mushrooms. Some people like garlic. I like garlic. I just don't like it in chicken soup. And people are always trying to spice stuff up. And the further you go, and if you do it by a committee, and if you do it with all this input from everywhere, all over the world, all these 1,000 pieces in the puzzle, but no picture on the box, you'll get a chicken stew that nobody not only won't eat it, but you can't even duplicate it. And that's the problem. That's what people do all the time. So keep it very simple, duplicatable. When I'm out on a presentation, the most important person at that presentation is the person I'm training. I mean, if I get done with my presentation, they go, oh, my God, the heavens opened up and sang hosannas, and it was just unbelievable what happened. That's terrible. I mean, people got to look at it and go, man, I think I could do that. That ain't that hard. I could do that. And that's one of the things you got to get good at is with people, understand that you got to make it duplicatable, make it simple, and make it look like, hey, you know what? I can do this. It's not that complicated. That's really what's important in our business. And embrace the numbers, not the people. Get passionate about the numbers. I mean, I see so many people go, I got this guy. Let me tell you about my guy. Please don't tell me about your guy. I mean, Keith Ottinger, my buddy, we do presentations. We had one of the greatest looking on paper, potential recruits, future SNSD. It's one of the things Bell last. I just recruited my next SNSD. I mean, it's a joke, but I mean, and you know what? You should be thinking that when you're bringing people into business. Well, at the end of the day, you just bring them in. They're going to do whatever they're going to do, and they're either going to do it or they're not going to do it. And this whole thing of whether they do it or not is some kind of, oh, terrible thing. What happened to you? It's no different than a waitress at a restaurant going, "Would you like coffee?" And 4 out of 7 people or whatever the number is say, "No, I don't want any coffee." And then there's me in the corner, like, "Yeah, I want coffee. Then I want another cup and another cup. Just bring me an IV. I mean, bring the whole pot. Just put it over here. Find the people that want the coffee. Don't worry about the ones that don't want the coffee. There's plenty of people looking for coffee. You go out and want to play. Hey, can Billy come out? No, Billy can't come out today. He got in trouble. He's on restriction. I mean, you're not going to go to Keith Otto's handling objections on POL and say, "Could I have a word with your mom, please? I'm going to kind of handle her objections, see if I can find a way for you to come out." Billy ain't coming out to play. And I don't ever remember crying on the curb, like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do? Billy can't come out." And I know a lot of you are thinking, "Is this all this guy ever talks about?" I mean, I hear people say that, and I don't give a crap because this is the business. I built 22 new RVPs since the IPO. How many did you build? You got to choose what level you want to play at. And if I'm going to play, I choose to win. I don't care what the crap the game is. I want to win. If it's 2 raindrops coming down a window, I want my raindrop coming down before your raindrop. Choose to win. And it's all about districts. Finding the people who are going to go embrace. Would you rather learn at 25% or 50%? Well, people say, "Well, I never had in 40 years anybody go tell me how that 25% works again." Everybody says the 50%. Well, if the 50% is right, then it's 3, 5, or 10 will be better. 3 recruits, 5 or 10 would be better. And then I did the guidelines. I have people, I had one person on this call call me, one that's doing well. I'm talking about a great RVP, $100,000 earner. I have this happen all the time. Like, well, I do this. Look, I do the same guidelines that Art did, the same guidelines I built a big business with. I know that if you get, 2 or 3 big new people in the company, they say, well, they should do 8 recruits and pass their SIE. And after they crawl on broken glass on their hands and knees, then we'll see if they do 10,000 and make 50,000. They earn their watch. Then we'll promote them. I don't give a crap. I know people are doing all kinds of crap out there. To me, one of the funniest things in my business. Well, why do you do a 3-day school? That's what Art did. And then I mean, it's amazing. Why do you think he did that? Why would I care why Art thought? I mean, if that's what Art did, I just do it. And we had our guidelines that were real simple. We just did it. And furthermore, most people ain't going to district anyway. So, I mean, if you got 1 or 2, 3 people going to district, I mean, who gives a crap? I mean, why do you want to make it harder, more difficult, jump through this hoop, do that? I'm just throwing that crap out. If it's not simple and duplicatable, somewhere you're going to end up with a glitch down the road. So you got to make a decision what level you want to play at. And I choose to play at the highest level. Another thing, double-digit recruiting. You want, 2 or 3 people going for district, you better get 10. And you better follow up. I've had people that, in my business where you go get a whole bunch of recruits, you get everything in place, and then you don't do the follow-up. Or you don't do the follow-up and say, would you rather learn at 25 or 50? I mean, are you kidding me? Everybody's going to say they want to learn 50, and that means they got to have 3, 5, or 10 recruits will be better. And if you don't get that drilled into people's head, that's what we got to go do first. Who's the 5, 10 people you would call 4 o'clock in the morning to help you out? Because somebody you love is in the wrong place in town, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're 200, 300, 500 miles away. Who's the first 5, 10 people you're going to call? If they ain't got 5, 10 people like that, then we got a challenge. Okay, you got to find some people that got credible leverage in their markets that can go do that, and you got to follow up. And if you're not out there, I can't believe. I mean, at one time I didn't want to say the number of recruits, and I go in like 2, 3 weeks later. It's like, can you do the follow up for this guy? It's like, you didn't do the follow up for him. Well, no, who'd you do the follow up for? Nobody. How do you get recruits to not do follow up? Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, repetition, 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 perfect practice, perfect practice, perfect practice, all this crap like 15 times a row. I'm just telling you, you want to win big, quit talking about winning. It's time to go win big. And that's the bottom line. If you want to do something great, you got the greatest opportunity, the greatest time it's ever. This whole COVID mess and everything, I mean, playing right into Primerica's hands, people looking for jobs, looking for extra income, people scared buying insurance. I mean, everything we do, and you're in the best place possible, you got to make a decision to win at the highest levels, embracing that repetition, going out there and getting passionate about the numbers, not the people, and go out there, make sure it's simple and duplicatable and over and over and over and over and over. Talk to you guys later.
Embrace the repetition.
Absolutely.
You've seen our sign.
We got the sign right
brought
there.
the sign in. Remind us all. It's what it is. It's not a complicated business by
Nope,
any means, right?
not at all.
You're an expert at this.
I appreciate that, darling.
Yeah, right.
I don't have money to pay
You
you
got
right
your
now.
2 minutes.
But
You
thank
got
you.
your 2-minute story. You did Andy's presentation.
Absolutely.
What else is there?
I
right?
know, yeah. And, just Andy, he's just embodied the AL Williams system. Get three. That gets three to get three.
Yep.
One person turned to 4,000 people. That's nuts. That's crazy. But it's still possible right now.
Right, and keep doing it. Right, probably more this year than it has
Any
been
other,
any
yeah,
other
absolutely.
time, for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Andy. We'll be back to you towards the end of the show. Real quick, can we look at the rally graphic? So RVPs only, you should be texting 404-465-1830. RVP, last name, the number of people you have engaged. Feel free to update as we go. Trisha's over there.
Oh, yeah,
writing
she
her little
loves it.
stuff down.
She loves it.
She does love it.
She was
loves-
waving her hands earlier
Was
today.
she?
I think
Was she
just
doing a
because she's
wave
excited.
by
Yeah, I mean,
herself?
by herself. Because
That was,
Freddie Freeman just said
oh, she's
sure,
double
she's
dipping.
trying to mask it. She's trying to mask it. She's excited.
All right, you guys. I am so excited. I had a quick conversation with our next guest this morning, and I said, so it's SNSD Whitney Cooper's up. And I was like, Whitney, so I read that you had a degree in finance, right?
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, I did. And I said, you came straight to Primerica from college? And she said, yes. So then my next question was, and I didn't ask her this exactly this morning, but so was it all rainbows and unicorns as soon as you arrived at Primerica?
And she gave
because
up Morgan
she's got
Stanley,
a degree
right,
in finance, right? So I'm hoping she can answer that question
Yeah, that'd be
for us.
nice.
Thank you, Whitney, for coming. We're glad you're here. Thank you.
Awesome, guys. Hey, excited for being on. Can you guys see me okay?
We can.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, hi.
Hey.
Hey, guys, hopefully y'all can hear me. I barely have a voice, but it'll be better than last time. But I'm honored to be on. Again, when Andy asked, I mean, this is a huge broadcast. I mean, I see you guys, y'all are running this like a TV show, and it is so awesome. And I was going to tell a little bit of my story. And because it's funny, Darla, you talking about that, you're absolutely right. Not all rainbows and butterflies. So let me tell you guys a little bit of how I got started in Primerica and our kind of history. And it really is just crazy, kind of, looking back 12 years ago. We've been doing this now about 12 years. And I came in 2008. I was a college student. A guy wasn't getting guests to the op night. So our RVP, which again, a good lesson here, you always got to call play. You guys as coaches, and you're all coaches. I don't care if you're a rep, a senior rep. You need to come in this thing, acting as a coach, you got to always call play. And a guy was frustrated that he wasn't getting guests to op night. So the RVP said, hey, why don't you, you go to school at North Texas, why don't you go around and ask everybody on campus what their major is? He said, eventually someone's going to say finance, and then invite them to a financial seminar. Well, of course, I'm working out at the gym. He asked what my major is. I tell him finance. And he comes invites me to a financial seminar. I had no idea what it was. I showed up. I remember I was driving there, and Rob, we've been together since we were 19 years old, me and Rob Cooper. And that's before I was Whitney Cooper. And I was driving to the office, and he goes, babe, I'm just worried about you. Like, this guy, we don't even know who he is. I was like, babe, he's 5'6". If he tries to kidnap me, I'll take him out, right? I was like, I'm 6 foot tall. Surely a 5'6" little boy isn't about to take down a 6-footer, right? And I always have an inside joke, but it's not. The 6-foot women never go missing. So I felt pretty confident where I stood. I was like, dude, this guy tries to mess with me. He's got the wrong person. So I show up to a one-person op night. Okay, it was a Wednesday night. It was just me. I was the only one there. And they got up front and said, hey, we have 3 speakers for tonight. It's going to be a big night. I remember thinking, it is just me. This is so weird. But you couldn't help but fall in love with the atmosphere. And when I say atmosphere, I don't mean that it was this big atmosphere, because it wasn't. But I'll tell you, the 3 people that were there, which were the 3 speakers, and the RVP, by the way, left, which you shouldn't do that. He said, hey, guys, waste my time. I'm going to let these 3 new people do this meeting. And, you really can't say the wrong thing to the right person. And these 3 people were so real and so genuine. They were so nice. I could tell that they were just good, genuine people. They had good character, good integrity. The meeting started on time. They at least somewhat knew what they were talking about. But I really wasn't ever going to come back. And so I remember I said that, after the meeting, they said, you made it to the second round. And I thought, you idiots, I'm the only one that was here. Of course I made it to the second round. Right. And so I called Rob. I'm like, these guys are all crazy. Like, I'm never going back, but I only came back to tell them I wasn't doing this. But I want to tell them in person. I didn't want to text. I didn't want to just no show. I at least want to show back up and have respect and let them know I wasn't going to do this. And I told Rob, I said, babe, 10 minutes. Let me tell him I'm not doing it. We'll go eat lunch. An hour and a half later, I come walking out like Miss Primerica. I'm like fired up. This is awesome, babe. We're going to do this. This is going to be amazing. And literally, we were on cloud just million. And Rob was so confused, but he hung in there and said, babe, if you're in, I'm in. And, we started this thing, like you said, I'm sure everything just went perfect. Absolutely not. I was a finance major. I remember thinking everyone was just going to flood in the doors. I remember thinking, I remember telling my RVP, I go, you're going to need a bigger room. My classes, my financial classes are like 5 times the size of this. And every one of them is going to come to the next meeting. Just watch. And he just kind of smiled. He's like, okay, and I thought, no, I'm serious. Like I'm about to make an announcement in front of this class, and I'm going to have like 200 people at the next meeting. And it's almost amazing. It is amazing that people that literally are a finance, it still to this day shocks me that people don't leave their options open. It's amazing. And not only did I have no guests the first meeting, I had no guests the second meeting, I had no guests the third meeting. By the way, when I keep telling you I had no guests, I was trying. I was talking. I was saying a lot of the wrong things. When I tell you I had no guests, I couldn't even get Rob Cooper. I couldn't even get my own. We weren't husband and wife then. He was just my boyfriend. It took me meeting number 5 to get Rob there, okay? So not only did I have no one at every meeting, it took me 5 weeks. It was finally on the 5th meeting, because I threatened Rob, that finally I got him to come to a meeting. He was like, oh my gosh, she's vicious. I got to show up. And finally I get Rob to a meeting. And again, still things didn't take off. I lived at home at the time. I was a finance major, wanted to do corporate law finance. My parents, I remember I set 10 appointments right away off the bat. My parents canceled every single one of them. My mom has 8 brothers and sisters. So I set my first 8 just with all of them. She called every one of them, canceled. My dad called his business partners, canceled. And they said, look, she's crazy. She's gone nuts. She's giving up everything for this company that we've never heard of. We have no idea what this is. If she fails, she'll stay on track, and we need her to stay in school, and she needs to keep going the direction. She has a good direction. This whole company's messing her up. And so they thought if they canceled all my appointments that I would just bow out and just stop doing this thing. And what they didn't realize, and what you guys, I know all listening, when you have a heart of a champion, if someone tries to put your fire out, they're really not putting water on the fire, they're putting gasoline. See, I went from I'm going to try this out to, oh, we're doing this. Like, there's no way. They threw logs, gasoline on the fire, and then me and Rob got after it, and it still didn't happen overnight. This thing is over. We're still not where we want to be. What's crazy is, in 2008 total, we recruited 59 people total, and we did 25,000 in premium total, okay, for the entire 2008. So 59 recruits. By the way, we only licensed 4 people. 2 of them were me and Rob. That's horrible, okay? So when I say we were bad, we were really bad. We recruited 60, licensed 4. 2 of them were me and Rob. So nobody else. It was me and Rob and 2 other guys that got our licenses. And 25,000 in premium, not great. And then I look at us today, we're almost 3,000 recruits for 2020. We're over 1.7 million. In my first 6 months, we didn't really make anything, and it wasn't Primerica's fault. It was our fault. Primerica always delivers. It always pays. And I always knew that, by the way. I was the newest recruit. I knew this was a championship winning team, but I just knew I wasn't getting playing time. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're on the number 1 team, which is Primerica, and of course your hierarchy is amazing. It's such an honor to be on with legends. But when you're on the winning team, and especially a winning hierarchy like this, and you're not getting paid, I call it, you're not getting playing time. If you're on the #1 team in the nation, you can't blame the program. You can't blame the coach. It's a winning program and you have a winning coach. It's just you got to up your game. And I know me and Rob, we just knew we had to up our game. You know, we were getting paid what we were worth. And unfortunately, when we were new, we kept slopping this thing up, messing it up. But that's kind of how you learn this thing. But, you know, thank God that we didn't quit and we didn't give in. And I'll tell you, thank goodness we came into a hierarchy like you guys are in that focus on building, that focus on recruiting. You know, my very first fast start school I went to, all they talked about was building, recruiting. Everyone had these, if you were a double-digit recruiter, they made like these poster board signs with your team name on them. And in the crowd, they would all huddle up and hold up their sign. And I saw these double-digit recruiting teams, and they recognized the teams. And me and Rob didn't know much, but we knew we wanted to be one of those teams. And we created our after 3 weeks of being in Primerica, we created the CCC and what it was going to stand for. And we had chants and colors. And we said, we're going to be #1 recruiters in the state of Texas, which we have been now for like the last 9 years. And then we said, we're going to be, you know, #1 in the company. And we've never been #1 for the whole year, but we've been #1 several times. And we've been in the top 10 for maybe the last, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 years, something like that. And not that that's big, not that we've arrived. One thing I'll tell you, me and Rob are great at is that we stay humble. You know, I don't think we figured this thing out. You know, people always ask, what's your presentation? I go, it's not the presentation. I think your presentation needs to be short. I think it needs to be simple. I don't think you need to kill people like with an hour-long, you know, presentation, you know, but it's simple, but it's never the presentation. It's the presenter. You know, I wish I came up with a presentation that was amazing, but I'm just not that good. And maybe some people think they are. That's never been us. I'll never do another business because I'm lucky this worked out for us. I'll never write a book because I don't think there's anything I'm going to say that I haven't read in another book. I don't know. And it's cool if you do that kind of stuff, but I'm not there. And I'll never be there. I'll do Primerica until they call me off the stage because I'm saying crazy crap and I'm nuts. I'll do it till I'm 120 if I can, you know, but we do a simple 1-page eye opener and we got our presentation down simple. It's who we are. It's what we do. I think it needs to be simple, but I think the biggest thing that when you're meeting with people, one thing that we got down early on, and I'm not trying to do a big training right now, but I do think it's important that we constantly understand that there's 3 sells we got to make. #1 sell, you got to make a sell that the recruit on themselves, believe that they can do it. #2, you got to sell them on you, that you and them against the world, man, they can't lose, that you and them against the world, you're going to do something big. And the 3rd sell you make is, of course, on the company, the crusade. But most people do it opposite. We sell Primerica. Then we sell that we're so great, us against the world, we can't lose. And then the 3rd sell, at the end, we try to say things like, oh, and I think also you'd probably be really good here. When really you need to start off with believing in people and going, are you kidding me? Darla, I'm just making this stuff up, right? Are you kidding me, Darla? You're a nurse and you have 4 kids. So right now you're a nurse. You work a full-time job. You juggle 4 kids with sports. You love helping people. Are you kidding me? I don't think you would be great. I know you'll be great. I don't think you can win. I know you can win. Me and you against the world, we can't lose, especially when we're representing a company like Primerica. Because see, people come in with big doubt and small belief. Your job after meeting with someone is for them to have big belief and small doubt. See, if I walked into any room with Andy Young, I don't care if it was closing a whole life policy, if it was someone who thought they had a good job and I walked in there with Andy Young, dude, I feel like I was like 1,000 feet tall. I would put Andy in front of any human being on this earth because of the confidence, because I bought into him. He's branded. Well, you got to do the same thing, but you got to believe in people and let them know, man, you can do this. You know, because 3 questions people ask. Can I trust you? Are you committed to what you're doing? And what's in it for me? And so when you're believing and pouring into people, I'm telling you guys, that's one of the biggest things that we're fanatics about, is making sure that we believe and love in people, that we brand ourselves, and then, man, just really get people on track and on board with their crusade and what we do. And again, I know y'all don't need a teaching lesson, but that's been important to us. And again, what that's brought us is from 2008 to now, we went from 59 recruits to 3,000. Then we went from, and the year's not over yet. That's just kind of where we're at right now. And then we went from 25,000 premium to 1.7. I know that's not big for this hierarchy and some of you guys on this Zoom, but I'm telling you, we're not where we want to be, but thank God we're not where we used to be. And we have a lot of lessons to learn, a lot of growing. But I think people get knocked out. I'll finish this with 2-3 minutes and I'll throw it back at you. But I think people get knocked out. I think people get knocked out so quick because of negative friends and family. It's amazing grown men and women that don't do Primerica because of what their dad, their mom, their uncle who lives on their couch said. And I'll have a grown man, 42 years old go, yeah, I talked to my dad. I go, what are you talking about? You talk to your dad. You're 42 years old. You need to grow some for one, right? And I'm like, second, I haven't listened to my parents since I was like 2 years old. What's up with you, man? Like I've literally, guys, I've not listened to my parents since I was at least 2 years old. Like ever since I turned 2, boom, stop listening to my parents. And I'm not telling you to disrespect your parents, okay? Please don't get that off this tonight. But I am saying you need to have your own thoughts, your own feelings, and you need to make your own choices. The other reason people don't get out of Primerica so quick is that they want this to happen overnight. They forget it took them 2 to 3 years to learn how to use a toilet, and they want Primerica to happen in 2 days. And it just doesn't work like that. I'm sorry. I wish it, I'm like anybody else. I wish there was a diet pill that worked. None of them do. And I wish there's all sorts of crap that we could just shortcut our way to all sorts of things. But it just doesn't work out like this. This thing takes time. It takes energy. It takes effort. It's not going to happen overnight. It's just not. If it's easy, it's sleazy. And the only time we've heard a million times, if you want the get rich quick garbage, it's in the corner with Bigfoot and the unicorn. It just doesn't exist here. You're going to have to work. You're going to take it's effort, but that should make you love it. We made right at 84,000 or something last month. And everyone was telling us, going, dude, if I made that, I'd buy everyone in my family a Rolex. I'm like, that's why you don't make that, because you're still an idiot, and God knows that, right? He's working on your butt, okay? Because that's a stupid move right there, okay? And so when you look at it, we're fanatics with that. So it's going to take time. I think another reason people don't win here is they're not willing to change. I think everyone's willing to learn. When you ask people who's willing to learn on a scale of 1 to 10, everyone says 10. Willing to learn, no problem. But the second question is, who's willing to change on a scale of 1 to 10? See, what's sad about our society is we want the world to change and we want everything around us to change, but we don't want to change. We want everything to get better, but we don't want to get better. We want phones to get better, technology to get better. We want the internet to get better. We want styles to get better, cars to get better. We want the players on the team to get better. We want everybody and everything to get better, but not ourselves. We want people to change around us. Why can't they be like this? Why can't they be like that? And then we aren't willing to accept it. So the other thing that knocks people out of Primerica is they want to stay the same old them. It's amazing how many people refuse to have energy, excitement, belief, passion, energy. And I go, dude, I'll shake someone's hand. It's like a wet fish. It's like a dead zombie hand or something. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you, right? Someone, dude, how you feeling today? Oh man, I was sick last week. I didn't ask you if you were sick last week. I asked how you're feeling today. No one needs to know about that. And people that walk around with this sour look on their face, I go, dude, you got to be up and happy and excited. They go, I am. I go, well, then tell your face, because your face doesn't know. Your face is unaware that you're excited. There's a connection that's not happening. And they go, well, this is how I am. Well, how's that going for you? Like, seriously, how is that going for you that I'm just not willing to change? I'm not willing to be excited. I'm not willing to get fired up. I don't know how good that could work out for you long term. So it's the little things that end up the big things. And I know those are a few little things. Darla, I'm going to pass it back at you, and then I think you're going to pass it back at me. Am I right in this? I want to make sure I'm staying according to the plan.
You're doing a great job, Whitney. We're like,
That's awesome.
Wes and I are like fired up here listening
gosh.
to you. Thank you for speaking the truth.
Right.
Saying it like it is one of the many things I love about you. So hang tight just for a few minutes while we do some housekeeping. We'll be right back to you. So we are going to let's watch this video real quick from Keystone.
Boom.
Boom. Gone. Almost.
It doesn't matter what you think about in this business, it's all going to take you back to double-digit recruiting. You've got to have a game plan that's focused on growth.
Only in Keystone, baby! If you're not here, you're missing out.
Because if you get good at talking to people about Primerica, all the other things will follow.
And it wasn't about income, but it was about outcomes.
What are you doing with this opportunity?
Y'all want more?
We decided
We want more! Hey everybody, the road to SNSD goes through Winston-Salem, but it makes a huge stop here in Keystone, Colorado. You cannot miss another trip. It is crucial for you to build a huge, huge business.
This is the place, this is the time, and you're the one.
What a time it is to be in Primerica, to be in this atmosphere, to listen to Gus and Johanna one-on-one, what you need to hear, what you need to know to build your business big.
Where else can you go and rub shoulders and pick the brains of multiple million-dollar earners and millionaires, learn how to come and build a business, leave a legacy behind for generations to come?
And where is that?
Only in Keystone, baby!
This is a red car event. This is for the studs. This ain't for the GP, the general population.
It's great. You have to be around these people.
If you want to build a big team, you got to be in events like this.
SNSD Factory!
Fun. That's gonna be fun.
Already, everybody's like, I'm bringing the most people I've ever brought.
Yeah,
You can't believe how many people we have registered. If you're not registered, run out to getbigorgohome.com
Yep.
and get registered ASAP.
That's right. Andy says you gotta have, if you want to be big, you want to rock this thing, you gotta have at least 20 people at Keystone. So we gotta rally up.
Remember, we're doing VIP qualifications. It was a contest that ran January through the month end October.
Right.
Right. If you're below RVP, you needed 175
175,
recruits.
yep.
Above RVP, 250.
Yep.
Jackets and T-shirts and all kinds.
Oh,
of
the recognition is tight.
Yeah, it is.
The
very,
jackets,
very
that we
good.
look forward to those every year.
Yeah. Us too.
Yeah, that's, I mean, because it's free jackets, and that's where we get all our jackets.
Is that it? All your outerwear.
It's just,
All right, Trisha's going to come in with who you've got reporting for RVPs real quick.
Okay.
And then we're going to go back to Whitney.
Okay, blowing down. This is who's reported so far. So if you haven't reported, text in. Give me your numbers. How many people you have tuned in? So we're with Ottinger, Sheridan's, the Lanes, Thompson, Whitmere, Stepner, McGinnis, Berryman, Marshall, Bella Rice, Lane, Craig Lane. There's several lanes. Julian, Gupta, Risby, Espinosa, Rubio, Nguyen, Muse, Lorfice, Janke, Costanzas, Malone, Wiley Browse, Roach, Ledan, Levy, Horner, Langston, Robinson, Andrews, Parker, Catan, Searcy, Red, Flournoy's, the Rodriguez, Doris Rodriguez, Nickel, Kahn, Martin, Walter Charles, Marmolejo, Snavely, Reljack, Hayes, Trin, Peel, Thomas, Kofer, Lane, Schmidt Sr., Price, Luzeris, Bynum, Chung, Shakar, Eubanks, Meddy Charles, Crenshaw, Heiler, Killebrew, Shaw, Hall, Walker, and Tejada.
You knocked that out the park,
That's
Trish.
awesome.
Come on now.
All right, you guys are showing up
Come
big
on.
time.
That's who's reported in so far.
Keep them
Yeah.
coming.
All right.
Keep them coming.
Keep
If you
them
haven't-
coming.
If you haven't reported
Even if you're
yet,
by yourself, right?
Even if you're by yourself, or if you haven't reported yet, there's still time.
There's still time.
All right,
Report.
let's real quick. Let's have Whitney. I don't know.
Oh, Whitney's
right?
back. Whitney, listen, I have a family member that it took them 13 years to learn how to use the toilet, so I know what you're talking about. Not on my side, my wife's side, just so you know. Go ahead and
Like the married in thing.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm not
you.
going to say
Right.
specifics. You know, I don't want my mouth.
All right, Whitney.
Wow,
come back and
that's quite the story.
Yeah.
But hey guys, just in wrapping things up, I just think, and again, you guys are the best of it. I watched that Keystone video, and Keystone is something talked about all over the company. It really is. The fact that this is the hierarchy and the leadership that Andy runs that, the Keystone is the most amazing. So I got to piggyback off that promo. It was absolutely amazing. We had our RVP team go. We rented a cabin, got away. It's just you got to at some point get away just from all the loudness, from your natural surroundings, so you can really, really open your mind, expand, dream big, think different. And I guarantee those that go to that event, it's like imagine everyone standing still and someone has everyone else in a slingshot. You're going to be at a different level when you come back than the people that didn't go. And those big events, I'm telling you, they're everything. And I have one of those Keystone jackets, and they are sick. Okay, they're absolutely awesome. The recognition is so incredible. And the fact y'all are doing a live meeting. How many people aren't doing those right now? That's huge, And I think one of the things, this hierarchy has a lot of strengths. But one of the things I've always noticed when I've come to speak for you guys and got to spend time with Andy is the relationships, the bonding that you guys have. And I always talk a lot about working hard and working a schedule, and I believe in that. I think you got to work a schedule. I think you got to put yourself on a schedule for a period of time. And then one day you kind of slowly take yourself off the schedule. It's weird, but you're on a schedule so hard. And all of a sudden one day you go, maybe I'll start going in on this day, but not till way later down the road, but maybe I'll start going on this day instead of showing up at 8 a.m. Maybe I'll do it like at 10 a.m., and slowly but surely you start realizing like, wow, I've really developed a business that runs whether I do it or not, but you work yourself out of a schedule. But in the beginning, you got to put yourself on some kind of schedule, or you'll have to go answer to a boss who's going to put you on a schedule. So we've been fanatical our entire careers. We really believe hard in a schedule and working hard and doing all the right things, and everything to do with recruiting to me is the right things. 80% of our time we spend on recruiting, from 9 to noon, 9 to 1, we're focused on getting new guests in for one-on-ones or for op, whatever it is that you guys do. From about noon to 4, we're meeting with our new studs, doing first times, fast starts, whatever, prospecting to get other new studs in. And then from 5 on, we're across that kitchen table, which, what are we doing across the kitchen table? We're recruiting new studs. I mean, everything, 80 to 90% of our time on a daily basis is focused on recruiting. And when you look at the big recruiters like you guys, even the ones that recruit the most, it's because they're focused on it. Those with a great marriage, why do they have a great marriage? They're focused on it. Those with great health, why they have great health? Because they're focused on it. You get what you focus on, right? And so anyways, I use all that. However, working hard, working a schedule, getting recruits in, none of it matters unless you do what your great leaders do. And I've seen it because every time I come to speak, is you got to build relationships. You got to build long-lasting love, do or die. And every time we come to a school, you guys are the best at this. And that's why you got to plug into these events. These guys don't just go to like an event, then everyone goes back to their own rooms. Nah, these guys hang out. They have get-togethers. When the show's over, it ain't over. Okay. I just want you guys to know that's like the real masterminding always is later. And the togetherness, the camaraderie, the bond that is on this team, it's unbelievable. But you guys need to learn from that. See, a lot of us, we go, well, I'm tired and I don't want to stay up that late. I got to go to bed and this and that. And you have all these reasons why maybe you don't plug into things like that. You'll never get big doing that. You got to do what the big people do. And you got to be observant. You got to watch. You got to watch everything, the way they are, the way they treat people, the way they are when they're around people. I'm telling you, this really is a copycat business. You just got to copy the right cat. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of leaders in this hierarchy, this organization, but I'd be copying Andy because he's the biggest cat in the room. Are y'all with me on that? He's like a lion, okay? He's a freaking tiger. And I would grasp onto that and go do whatever he does. If he's there, I'm going to be there. If he's doing an after meeting, I'm going to be there. If he's talking over here on the side, I'm going to go listen in. I'd be a nut about those things because those are part of the reasons. But this is a business that was built with relationships, hands-on. You got to touch the heart. And I know we're going through a lot of things, but I hear too many people talking about, this is the new way. This is how we do things. We don't do any live meetings, no group. And I get some places are different than others. And I'm not telling you to go against the rules of the law, but you better not believe this is how it's just going to be forever. You like the event they're running, it's a live event. They wouldn't do it if it didn't mean something. The company's about to have leadership events, and we're about to have, we're about to have the company trip. They wouldn't run it if they knew that being around people wasn't important. It's important that you have that camaraderie, that unity, that you're around people, that you have that team, that togetherness, that whatever. You gotta make sure that you're not just so distant that you forgot what it's like to be around people. You know, I remember we did our first op. People were so like, they almost didn't know how to be around people anymore. You know, we were clapping. People forgot how to clap. People forgot how to smile because they've been isolated so long. And then I had everyone yell at some point, and people were like pretending like they were on a Zoom. I was like, no, I can really see you. I can hear you. Like, this stuff is important. Like, so you gotta really make sure you're touching the heart and building relationships. You know, people always ask, what do y'all do for fun? I don't know what's fun for you. I know what's fun for us, but that doesn't matter. You got to figure out what's fun. But you got to have a mastermind group that, man, you're hanging out with. I mean, guys, early on, we were with our guys like almost every single weekend, every day, obviously at the office, but every single weekend. You know, we went to their kids' birthday parties. We can't do it anymore. We're so big. I can't make every weekend. It's a wedding, a birthday party, a baby shower. So we're at a different level. But in our earlier days, dude, your kid had a birthday party, we were there. Wedding, we were there. Baby shower, we were everything we were at till we couldn't do it anymore. Art Williams said you put a hand on everybody till you can't anymore. He said we owe people two things. One, an example of success. I've never seen an example of success that wasn't growing. See, when he said you're either growing or dying, that's not a cool saying. That's for real. And you really are either growing or dying. And when you choose not to grow, you are literally choosing to die. You are either growing or dying. And when you make a choice that you're no longer going to grow, then you will start to go the other direction and start to die. And growth and growth hurts, by the way, because it takes change. Growing pains are real. They're legit. Okay. I have a 19-month-old, man. She's starting to cry a lot at night because she's growing. Those things, it hurts. It's painful. It's not fun, but it requires that to get to the next level. And growth is evidence of life, and stagnation is evidence of death. And I'll tell you, some of my worst moments in Primerica, it didn't matter how much money we were making. It was moments that we didn't feel growth, that we knew we were starting to stagnate. Days that I don't do one-on-one interviews are my worst days. I've done one today. When we hit our 6th diamond, I was doing an interview by 9 a.m. that next morning. We hit our 7th diamond. We were back on it by that next morning, because doing a one-on-one with a new stud, it gives me this life that I can't get from nothing else. Yeah, I can't go that fast in a car that gives me life. Buying something new doesn't give that to me. It's only meeting with a new stud, and you know it too. Those of you guys, when you do an interview, a one-on-one, or you have a fired up new stud after a meeting or after this Zoom call tonight, nothing fires you up like that. Isn't that true? You know how that feels. You know how it feels to just have this hope that, man, it's going to go to a different level. Well, it's no different, man. You know, you got to constantly putting yourself in front of new people, new faces. And I'm telling you, it keeps this thing youthful forever. See, I love this saying of it's easier to give birth than to raise the dead. I always heard Whittle say that, and it's so true. It's easier to give birth than to raise the dead. And a lot of you guys have your recruits, your old time recruits that aren't doing anything. They're like voodoo dolls, and you're trying to poke them, get them to do things that they don't want to do. It's easier to give birth than to raise the dead. You got to go give some birth. And I know it takes work. I know it takes effort. I know you don't want to do it, but you got to freaking do it, and you'll never feel better about yourself. And I'm telling you guys, there's so many times that, man, we doubted, we didn't believe, you know, I always knew Primerica worked, but I knew eventually it would work for us, but I just didn't know when. And it drove me nuts. Like, this has got to work at some point. I remember this text message from a big leader, and all it said was, Whitney, you are going to be great. And I'm so impressed with you. That's all it said in 2 sentences. And I literally read that message every single morning. I read it all throughout the day. When we had doubt and fear and we didn't want to do this thing, I'd read it at night. I'd tell Rob late at night, I'd say, babe, you know this is going to work out for us, right? And I'd say that, and he'd go, yeah. And I'd say, I know it's not right now. I know it's not looking good, but I promise you it's going to work out. Because there's times Rob would come to a meeting, and like our best guy had like a wooden leg and one eye, and he had no car, and I had to drive him all around for every appointment. I was like a freaking bus or something. He had like one tooth, right? He looked like a cyclops. Like, our best recruit was the biggest weirdo in the room. And Rob would come to a meeting and be like, so that's our guy? I'd be like, yeah, babe, that's him, you know. And he's like, God, what do you like? Okay, okay, like I could tell Rob was so embarrassed, but I didn't know what I was doing, but I just knew if we kept trying, we kept talking to people, that it would get better. And and that guy that had one tooth and a wooden leg, I believed in him. I believed in him like I did the guy that has both of his legs. It just didn't matter, we came in this thing just dying to be somebody, but all the same fears and everything. Every leader has it. Every leader goes through doubt, and it doesn't matter the income. It doesn't. It's the field. It's the momentum. And I'm telling you guys, you stay focused. You stay on it. I always heard one of my first CDs I got, and I'll end with this. It was Bill Whittle, Andy Young, Mike Sharp, Hector Lamarck, and Mark and Sandy. It's a CD. It's way old school, but I love old school. I'm an old soul, by the way. Okay. I'm a 90-year-old trapped in a 34-year-old body. Okay. So but I remember this CD, and they would talk about, man, success isn't edible if you do the right things long enough. And I hear Andy talk about recruiting, and I just all these things, and I just listened to it a million times, and we just were naive enough to believe that if we kept doing the right things long enough. Every leader talked about building. Every leader talked about recruiting. We knew that was the answer. We knew that's what we had to focus on, and we didn't take our eyes off and do anything else, and we focused on it. All we won for the first 3-4 years was recruiting. Everyone said all they do is recruit, but they don't license someone. Well, then we recruited and licensed everybody. And they go, all they do is recruit and license, but they don't know how to write premium. And then we start writing premium, and they go, well, they don't make any money. And now we start making some money, and our guys make money. And so, but we never listened to the booers. All we paid attention was we were on the field. We paid attention to the game. We paid attention to those that were cheering us on, not the ones that were booing us. And it's worked out pretty well for us. I'm not saying we've arrived, but my God, we have a pretty dang good life. I haven't had to make a sale to pay a bill since I was 26 years old. We saved our first $1 million by the time we were 29 years old. And I'm telling you guys, again, I'm not saying that we've arrived in this and that, but my gosh, our life sure is nice. And the fact that during all this, that we got to stay on our game and keep going, and we didn't have to be out of it. So many people, I'm about to meet with one of my neighbors. She has a big time career job, making over $100,000 a year with a big hotel. And she got furloughed, and they're now shutting down. This company was in business for 160 years. 160 years. This lady thought she was set. We have a meeting Friday morning because she just found out they're shutting down for good. There is no coming back from any of this. And she would have never believed in that in a million years. And she's excited to come now with Primerica. And I'm telling you, this lady's going to be a stud. But there's people everywhere dying for a freaking shot. And it's up to us to go tell them. So Darla, Andy, everybody, man, thank you guys for having me on. I'm telling you guys, this hierarchy, that Keystone event, you got to make sure you're there. Nobody's running a big event like that right now. And so when there's one open like that, you got to make sure that you jump on that like crazy. Thank you guys. Love you guys. I respect the heck out of this hierarchy and the leadership in that. Andy, I love you. You're amazing. And thank you guys so much.
Thank you so
That's
much,
awesome.
Whitney, man.
Wow. That's powerful. That's powerful.
That was powerful. Thank you.
Everyone could relate to that special recruit that they got.
Yes.
With the one eye.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have the felon leg.
Yeah. With the leg. Oh, we've had plenty of interesting
the felon
people.
leg.
Oh my gosh.
Just kidding. Right. But yes. But she said so much powerful stuff, you guys. I hope you took notes because it was coming at us quick.
Right.
But perseverance.
She said keep on going.
Keep on
going.
It
will work. She said that it will work.
Right. And I love it's simple but not easy.
Right.
Right? And she said it over and over again, but saved their first $1 million by 29.
Absolutely.
Pretty good.
She has a one page just like Andy. Keeps it simple just like Andy. Yeah, one
keeps it
page.
Simple. Don't kill them with the presentation.
Right.
It's very, very similar to what we're doing, and it's successful.
Absolutely.
All right, Trish. You're up, and we have we've gone high.
Going old school.
Old school.
I was gonna say we're going high tech.
Old school.
I like old school.
Old school.
All right.
I like old school.
All right. Let's see if we can.
All right. So I can't remember where I left off. Kilbridge, Shaw. So I'm just gonna read some off. I may be repeating myself. These came in after I came up. Shaw, Hall, Walker, Tejada, Janique, Ray Rodriguez, Jeremy Morrow, Bobby Cheeks, Vince Lane, Tammy and Ron Lewis, Kevin Goodman, and Glenn Plate. Those came in after I came up.
That's a great list.
I know. It's awesome.
All right.
So now we're down to, I said I was going to do 2 because I'm flying solo tonight, but it's going to come down to top 3.
Top 3.
Top 3.
Top 3.
So we've got Walter Charles.
Walter Charles
has reported in 70.
70 people reported.
70. David and Garcia
Catan
reported, and they have 77.
77.
Belda Rubio.
Rubio.
There she is.
Last week's champ.
Yep. She reports in, she has 85.
85 people.
Yep. So, again, only these 3 RVPs. Walter Charles, David and Garcia Catan, and Belda Rubio.
Am I doing a good job?
You're doing
yes,
a
you
great
are.
I feel
job.
like I'm doing a great
We need
job.
to see your face.
That's true. Oh.
There you go.
Can they see the names?
So, Walter Charles,
A little
David
bit.
and Garcia Catan, and Belda Rubio. Those 3 RVPs.
Okay, let's see the graphic. All right, remember
I'm
these
gonna
are
go
the
count.
Okay, have fun.
All right.
The top base shops. You guys flood Trish with stuff. Text 404-465-1830.
1830.
Remember now, these are your team members texting. As an RVP, you cannot text for them.
Nope.
They're going to put RVP in your RVP's last name, but your solution number.
Right.
Right?
And it's not in groups.
Not in groups.
It's per phone, individual's phone.
Yep, and Trish will delete you, right? So we don't want to lose that count.
Right.
So everybody has to do their own, and she can see if, even if you do one at a time, if it's all from the same number, she can see that too.
Come on, guys.
Yes,
Let's get
right?
this thing together.
This is the verify part. All right, let's get that started. So next up, we've had the hot twos.
The hot
Something
twos.
that actually you coined.
Come on
this
now.
phrase,
I
right?
feel good. I'm a contributor.
You
I'm
are
a contributor.
Why don't you go ahead? You can introduce.
I can
these,
introduce
please.
it? All
We're
right,
gonna
all
do them
right.
in that order.
Okay, great. Good. I feel good because I got
You
everything
are
in front of me. I
awesome.
learned this from Andy. Andy says you give them what to
I
do,
do.
and we just follow. I'm doing the same
Yep,
thing. That's
you're
good.
doing a great job.
We're really excited about this next person because you know what? Every week I see this person's name counting in for attendance, and I'm excited about what she's got going on. And so she's going to share with us her hot two. So Miss Mickey Peel, right? I like it. It has a ring to
It's
it.
a great name, isn't it?
I love it.
Yay! All right. Done.
Hey, can you all hear me
Yes,
well?
we can hear you perfectly.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, man. I am so excited to be on the show. We thank God for the opportunity, man. Every time Andy includes you in something, it means you're starting to do something. So we're excited about that. Thank you, Andy and Dala and the entire Get Big and Go Home team. We're the M&M Crusaders, Milton and Mickey Peel and the M&M Crusaders based in Maryland, but have licensed agents in other states. So we are so fired up about where we're going. To talk about recruiting is almost to talk about a love affair. You got to be excited. You got to be on fire. And that's the first step towards that. So recruiting is a mindset. Recruiting is a mindset. You have to have the right mindset. And when you have to have the right mindset, you got to have a system. You got to have a system that you believe in and that you work with. You've got to have an environment that you plug into that's consistent with where you want to go, so you're not getting confused with where your goals are. You've got to have a mentor. And when you have a mentor, you got to listen to the mentor. Because it's one thing to have a mentor, it's another thing to listen to the mentor. You got to be excited. You got to be dressed for your part, 24/7, dressed for your part, so that you can feel good. Because when you feel good, you do good. But all we do on our team is we follow the 4-point game plan. We follow the 4-point game plan. And the first one in the 4-point game plan is recruiting. So we get everybody on the team excited about recruiting. You got to have some friends. You can't be here by yourself. So you got to have some friends. The next thing is, hey, you got to show up. Well, you got to show up. Show up to what? Show up to everything. You got to show up to our 1 p.m. daily show. You got to show up to the Tuesday evening training. That's a big deal for us. We're still working towards that cup. We're not there. We're so shut on that. I don't know why we can't pass 27 to 30 for now, but we're coming for it because we got to stay fired up about it. But the game is that we have people plugging in every week. to the event because it's exciting to us. You got to show up to that. You got to show up to the 1 o'clock show, show up to the team trainings. Then you got to get excited about getting exposed, because it's one thing to stay with the local environment and stay in the base shop, but you got to get exposed. Every exposure, big exposure that Milton and I had in the business was because we followed Andy somewhere. And so we excited about Keystone. Can't wait. For the first time, we got 10 persons already got their tickets. We got 15 confirmed. The goal is to get to 25. We already got 2 condos booked for the team, and we're fired about that because we know it's going to take our team to the next level. So you got to show up to events, not just here, but you got to show up on the road, and that's when you know you got committed team players. Once you start recruiting, you're going to have people doing their personal plans, a personal consumption program. People are going to do their personal plan. Harriet Sabli on our team wrote $10,000 in premium. And why? Because she had what? She was feed training people. That's the power of recruiting. Alvina Smith, she wrote almost $7,000 in premium. What was that? It was because of recruiting. She had people to train. So you got to be recruiting all the time. And then as you recruit people, recruit with a purpose. The purpose is to get them to district, get them licensed, and then repeat the process every day, 24/7. So that's where we add dollar. That's what we're excited about. Man, thank you, Andy, for this environment. We couldn't be more excited to get back in that environment with Andy. We're looking forward to Keystone. I hope you're looking forward to that. Let's go win together, everyone.
All right.
Good,
that was
good.
really
That was
useful,
good, yeah.
right?
I'm excited about exposing myself. Wait, that
Wait a minute.
That's it didn't come out.
No, it did not.
The way I wanted it to.
All right, introduce the next one.
All right.
Quickly.
So we got Andres. Andres, man, he looks good. Can we see him?
You're gonna
now
see.
look,
Yeah, look
now
at
look, Andres, you're almost there. Come back to me. Come back to me. Andres, you're almost there, my man. So you just got to get it a little bit more. You know, you see that shine? I mean, it's priceless, man. He's awesome, man. So Andres, talk about an environment. I mean, I came in, I seen what they did with the Get Big or Go Home environment and how they've always rocked. I mean, we went out to lunch a few months ago when he came down. Primerica had him talking, and it's just great what him and his brother are doing, what they've done for their family. So Andres, take it away, my man.
Awesome. Well, just wanted to make sure that you guys hear me well.
Yes, sir.
We're good.
All right, perfect. Well, everybody, welcome to the SNSD Factory. So happy, so happy to see you guys, right? And so happy to be back in the room, right? It's definitely exciting times in Primerica. I think like this 2020 year is coming to a wrap up right now. This last 90 days. Is what I like to call, like the last quarter of the year, right? But it's also the beginning of 2021. I think whatever you do right now is going to make a big impact in your 2021 year. Something happened to Alvaro and I and, my family during this middle of the pandemic where, my dad was not feeling that well during the middle of the pandemic, like around, like May, June, something like that. And it wasn't because of COVID. Actually, it was something else. And, at one point I came to the realization when I was with him, like, man, I was like, thinking, man, what have I done? All the promises, where have they gone? Like I told my dad and my mom that I was going to be able to provide for them. So, at one point I had to come to a deep realization, right? That I needed to do more. I needed to do better. I needed to, up my game, intensify the game. And so Albert and I made a commitment, made a decision to rank the numbers up. Recognize recruiting, recognize attendance. We're running our own up nights right now, which is amazing. We have 50, 55, 60 people, everybody with a mask, 6 feet apart, obviously. We got to be precautious with that. We're not playing no games. But I would say to you, if you're listening on this call, right, you want to win, I would say to you that if you want to win here, you got to put excuses aside because excuses are for punks. And this ain't no business for punks. And I'm going to be straight up with you. You have to put all the excuses aside because excuses don't count on the big leagues, like my coach Andy Young said. You want to win, you got to make a decision right now. Right now, as I'm talking to you, my country, Peru, is playing Brazil right now for the World Cup qualifying. But this is my World Cup. I'm not going to play in the World Cup. This is my World Cup. This is where I'm one-on-ones. 80-90% of our business, I would say, is done on a face-to-face. Maybe 10% might be on Zoom. We keep it old style. We keep it old school. And, Zoom for me is just like how would I call it, another play on the books, but I'm going to keep the main thing, which is, kneecap to kneecap, doing fast starts, doing orientations, getting those top 25, setting appointments on the same day that I recruit somebody, setting appointments with the most influential person in the person's life, especially if they're young, and just rank up the numbers, rank up the recruiting numbers, rank up the appointments. I would say to you, if the first day you recruit somebody, you're taking them to You Can Pass, helping them pass chapter 1 and chapter 2. I would say to you, I think you're wasting time there because, if they're going to get licensed, they're going to get licensed because they're going to get licensed. Every winner, every champion needs to figure out that if you're going to override in this business, you need to get a license to override. You're not going to override nobody if you're not going to get a license, right? But yeah, we're definitely sold out to double-digit recruiting. We have 4 double-digit recruiting teams direct to us, which is what we're doing over, 50, 60 recruits consistently. But we want to rank it up and get to that ISNSD and follow our coaches play and just dominate, impact a lot of people, just make $1 million, not just in income, but build $1 million hierarchy that will produce $1 million incomes, $100,000 earners, SVPs, NSDs. And so, we're just excited. I don't know if I have maybe like 1 or 2 more seconds to share with you guys, right? That, recruiting is everything. It's the name of the game. If you're selling other thing, I don't know what you're doing. But we're sold on to recruiting and attendance and building districts, building distributions. We're looking to open offices around the DMV and nationwide. 100 offices in the next 3 years is the mindset, and that's what we're going for.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Excellent. Well
Awesome.
done. Well,
That's great.
You cannot be confused.
You can't be confused. Recruiting is everything, and it takes a real man to wear a pink suit on national TV. Listen,
You look good.
I'll send you a text.
All right,
thank you, man.
Good. All right.
So we got Tanya Searcy from Colorado. We'll be there in less than 90 days probably, right? Way less than 90 days. So excited about her. I heard the fire and passion in her voice last time she spoke. Yes. So we're excited to see what she's going on. And so we're excited about your hot too. So go ahead and share with us.
All right. Well, thanks guys for having me on tonight. I'm excited to be on. And tonight has been a fantastic training. I love Tuesdays with Get Big or Go Home. And so as we're headed into we're in the fourth quarter now, and we're headed into 2021, I think that's fantastic advice that the last speaker gave is you got to look at it like we are already in 2021, if you can believe that, right? Yeah. It's been a fast year. Yeah. And everything we do now is setting ourselves up for that. If you think you're going to make your game plan and get started as soon as all I need is a new year and a new start, and things will take off as soon as January 1 hits, that's the wrong thinking. As far as we're concerned as a team, from a leadership standpoint, when we came into this pandemic, we were entering in a rebuilding phase, and that's not a new concept. Sometimes you got to rebuild a base. We had just never done it during a pandemic. So personally, from a leader standpoint, I was slow out the gate. I was like, all right, 14 days to flatten this curve. So we'll do a few Zoom meetings and we'll get back to our normal scheduled programming. Well, 14 days to flatten the curve, and we're 7 months in, right? So what I've been personally doing is taking responsibility. Like, look, what did we do right in the last 6 months, and what did we not do right in the last 6 months? And how can I go into the fourth quarter to finish this year off strong and set my 2021 up? And so we've been working on dialing down our system, not changing it, but making sure that, yes, we're using Zoom as a tool, but Zoom is not, for me, I'm speaking for myself, Zoom is not something that we're going to build a business using 100% of the time. Whitney said it tonight. People need the human touch. And so what we did was we figured out, okay, this is how we're going to dial down our system, that no matter what restrictions they throw our way, who's locked down, who isn't locked down, that we're going to keep this train moving forward no matter what, and that our system can keep going no matter what happens. And then, plugging into Get Big or Go Home has been key for us. It's been a lot of hope. And so for me going into the fourth quarter, because I can only control myself, is I'm focused on only letting certain voices in my head. And that's the Get Big or Go Home crew and Art Williams. Outside of that, I don't want to listen to anybody else, because I have to make sure that the message stays clear in my heart and in my mind so that I can make sure I'm speaking the right message to the team. And the lifeblood of the business, see, the Bible says that life is in the blood. Well, in Primerica, the lifeblood of our business is recruiting. And I would take it a step further and say it is double-digit recruiting. And that's what I love, that the message is so consistent here. And we've got to plug into the right environment. For us, that is get big or go home. And so we're focused on plugging into every Tuesday. We've been stagnant in our attendance, and there's no reason why our attendance shouldn't be at 100 because of Zoom, and people can plug in from anywhere in any device, right? And then Keystone, last year we had 18. This year we have 31, and these are 26 of them are from California, and they already have their airlines purchased. These are not people who say they're going. These are people who are coming. And so the most important thing to control is your front end activity, which is double-digit recruiting. So my focus going into the fourth quarter is developing brand new double-digit legs and getting plugged into the right environment, which we already are. And Keystone and big events brings a lot of hope. And I think ultimately that's what our responsibility is as a leader, is to keep hope alive in our own heart and our own mind so that we can keep hope alive for the team. There's one thing that I read, I don't even remember where I read it, but it never left me. It says that he that loses money loses much. He that loses friends or family loses more. But he who loses hope loses all. And that's Primerica, guys. We give hope. Look, I'm not into the fact that people can deem someone's job essential or non-essential. I mean, our crusade is more alive than it's ever been. The talent pool is continuing to grow and get bigger. You can't turn on your phone or the TV without seeing the mass layoffs, the permanent closures. And so hope is a basic need for the human spirit. The human spirit needs hope more than they need food and more than they need water. And that's our job, to keep hope alive. So I'm so excited for this fourth quarter headed into the new year. And there's no better way than to end this very interesting year with you guys in Keystone and starting it off the right foot with you guys. So thanks for having me. And that's it.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
That's awesome.
Good job. Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
That's awesome.
All right.
Then we got
One
next
more.
up one more, and that's Dina Maleka. I mean, she is awesome. Soon to be RVP.
Yes.
Right? That'll be
Yes.
the third
Moments
one.
away.
Yeah, I mean, come on, for Peggy and Jaron, that's exciting stuff. So about to make history. And her husband is a man's man. I
Yeah?
feel so safe in his arms.
good.
If I were to be,
Oh.
and you gotta meet him. All right, Dina, go ahead, take it away.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be in this platform. It's an honor. I want to thank my coaches, Peggy and Jaron, for allowing me to be here, and Coach Andy for this platform. Darla called me today and she said, hey, talk about your game plan, right? So the fourth quarter, my game plan is just to go for the double-digit recruiting, get my RVP contract and run with it. My coaches, they've been drilling in our head and my team that, hey, you go to RVP, it's not to stay at RVP, right? Because you go to RVP is to promote RVPs. And so, the plan is to get to RVP by the Dome, and to get to RVP and get 3 RVP, so get SVP and ownership by the Dome, and so pushing my SVP to $1 million earner SNSD. So the focus really, we've been talking about mindset. I had to change my mindset, right? Through this course, I had to change my mindset. So really it was all into reading, stretching myself, through Peggy recommended Think and Grow Rich. I mean, that's one book that has totally changed my life, totally changed my business, and totally changed the way I think, right? And just even being confident. I was the girl who was really shy and who was not comfortable talking around people. I mean, you would have called me and told me, hey, Dina, you have to talk in front, get big and go home and speak. I would have been like, heck no. But you know what? They've been stretching me so much, taking me to the next level. And it's just been great. It's been, just being able to be stretched and becoming the person that, I've always dreamed of becoming, right? So I got out of my comfort zone, and I'm working on focusing. The main focus is double-digit recruiting and the RVP contract, and get to SVP by the Dome, and push my awesome coaches Peggy and Jaren to SNSD $1 million earners.
Nice.
That's all I have tonight.
Nice.
Awesome. Great job, Dina.
Well done, right?
Yeah, she's on. Tell your husband I said hi. Please just let him know for me.
Oh my.
I mean, you
I'm
should
totally
meet him.
Curious.
He's a man's man.
Okay.
You should try it.
I think you want to introduce somebody.
Oh yeah, I want to introduce now my coach of coaches. Moved up here from Florida to Georgia to get coached by the. It's crazy because Michelle Kwan fired her coach before the Olympics, and she did not win because she said I wanted to do it by myself. And a 16-year-old got the gold medal. And so what happens is it's crazy not to have a coach. And if you want to win the gold, you need someone who's already won it. And that's our coach, Andy Young. So take it away, coach.
All right. It said to unmute. Am I unmuted? Am I good?
You are. You
Yes, sir.
sound great.
Beautiful. I'm a little confused. Andres, ¿qué es esto? World Cup. I'm not familiar with that. I don't know what that means. Let's just use something about ice skate. I don't know what all these confusing things are, but we're talking about championships here. So I'm going to come back to what it takes to win. If you play casually, you're going to be a casualty. And I have two pictures with Darla. I mean, there was this bluebird just flying around. It was me and Kristen and Darla. I was doing some faxing and things I needed to get in yesterday morning over at the Swanee office before I headed out of town. And I think we got the first picture up. This bluebird's just casually just flying around. All of a sudden,
Yep. Hold on. It's
we
coming.
got him.
It's coming. Just a sec. There it is.
All
That's
right.
it. Yep. There it is. Then all of a
So
sudden.
he just nails this bluebird. I mean, it's like, dang. I mean, it's like proud, loud. Yeah, you flying around, bam, you're on the ground. And it wasn't even 10 seconds later, next frame.
That's tough.
That's tough, man. So you want to play this game casually, you don't want to end up being a roadkill. Now you're going to need roadkill. I think that was, let me think. I think that was the early lunch. But anyway, you got to make a decision to play at a high level. And, Art Central is 21 letters out. And the 21 letters, it's interesting to me that one of them's in a trash can. I was jotting down some names. I want to throw them out for you. And then it's probably double this list easily. But guess what came out of that one letter at Primerica? That's the Buisson hierarchy, the Sharp hierarchy, Tuttle, Carry On, Mario Arizon, that whole bunch out there in California, Fitzpatrick, Willie, Gus, Lawrence Walker, all of the Canada people, Bobby Gocool, Jim Bone, two different legs. That came out of that one letter. Mary Walker, Sam Shepard, Gurpreet Singh, John Lavin, Andrea Burks, the entire Turley hierarchy, which includes the Wydell hierarchy, my hierarchy, the Young hierarchy, Crossland, all of that came out of one letter in a trash can. I mean, if you don't think follow-up is critical, you got to go out there and just dig and dig and dig and dig and dig. You never know. And that was that ice storm that I had January 4th, 1982. I mean, the ice storm happened. Everybody's, you can't go. Ina Paula shows up, and boom. I mean, that hierarchy 38 years later, I mean, that's the Kalk, Christian David, Chavez, Andres, and Alvarez. I mean, that's a big group of people that's averaging, that group by themselves averaging like 500, 600 recruits a month, 600,000 premium every single month. And it's about maybe a fourth of what we do in our total hierarchy. But I mean, dadgum, that's one person. I mean, it's scary. You got to turn over every stone. You got to get excited. Nobody wants to follow a dull, disillusioned, frustrated dadgum crabber. I mean, nobody wants to. And you got to get your game going, or you got to get on your game while you're in the game. People got to know if you're happy and you know it, like Whitney said, tell your face. I mean, you got to be moving, bouncing, and doing all that kind of stuff. And nobody can measure the heart of a man or woman. I'll close with this one on tonight's show. David Andrews, he played at Georgia. He was all SEC, all Southeastern Conference. I mean, he's not bad, but he was too short. He was too slow. He started like Joe Gibbs with the Redskins. They had the Hogs. It was Jeff Bostic. And every year they'd say, Joe Gibbs, what are you looking for this year in the draft? He'd go, we're looking to find a new center. I mean, the same guy won 3 Super Bowls, but it's like every year he said he's going to replace the guy. That's kind of David Andrews. Nobody, it's just he wasn't that guy. And nobody would even look. He grew up in Atlanta. The Falcons wouldn't even look at him. I mean, they wouldn't even give him not even a tryout. That didn't get drafted in the draft. And Bill Belichick went to Athens, Georgia, and worked him out. He says, well, I'll tell you what, kid, you come up to our training camp, see what you can do. And 5 weeks later, because somebody got hurt, 5 weeks later, he's starting for the New England Patriots, snapping the ball. He's the center, snapping the ball to Tom Brady. He ends up the next year being the captain of the team. His first 3 years, nobody wanted him. First 3 years, he played in 3 Super Bowls. I mean, that's almost unheard of. First 3 years, 3 Super Bowls, got 2 Super Bowl rings, won 2 Super Bowls his first 3 years in the NFL, and still with the Falcons. And I mean, that happens all the time. The kid, Stetson Bennett, that is playing at Georgia, the starting quarterback, one of the top quarterbacks rated in the country right now. He was number 5 when he started the season. He was a walk-on originally. Didn't even have a scholarship. Number 5 guy. And he just said, I just kept one after another, put my foot in front of the other, learning as much as I could, get my confidence going. And I mean, the point I'm making is when you get your shot, you got to take advantage of it. If you're wandering around playing casually like that daggone Blue Jay was yesterday, that was yesterday.
It was.
He's probably going to get eaten by a hawk. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, you stand still on Interstate 85 or Interstate 95 or Interstate 70 or wherever you guys live. I mean, you're going to get run over. It's just a matter of time. So choose to play at a high level. Nobody wants to follow dull, disillusioned, frustrated, daggum crybaby. If you're happy, tell your face. And daggum, you win with your heart, not with your head, like David Andrews, like Stetson Bennett, the guy, the quarterback in Georgia now. I mean, when you get your shot, and I believe for a lot of you, this is your shot. Well, quit, sightseeing, go out there, get your part down, embrace the repetition, embrace the numbers, and get passionate about the numbers, not the people. And, as the people emerge, you get passionate about them. But, I mean, as they emerge, as Mike Sharp said so greatly last year at the Dome, we don't develop people, we find people. But you're not going to find them if you don't go through the paces. So I challenge you guys. I mean, Keystone, from my guarantee, because I know it's man, we're going to have to separate those meetings out. We're going to have to, increase the meetings. I told Darla, I mean, it looks like I will do 48 hours worth of meetings in 72 hours. That means 16 hours of meetings a day with 8 hours sleep, and boom, go again, nonstop. Because that's part of what we're going to have to do because of where we're at. I guarantee you, I'm committed. We're going to blow this thing through the top, through the roof, and go through 2020 because 2020 starts now. 2021 starts right now. We're going to blow the roof off this thing. Get your folks out there. I promise you're going to get everything from this dude. You make sure you give everything on your side, and you're going to win huge in 2021. So see you guys next week.
Bye.
All right, Coach Andy.
We will see you soon.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
¿Qué es esto?
¿Ah?
¿Qué es esto? World Cup?
World Cup? ¿Quién sabe eso? I want to go to the NFL, the Super Bowl.
All right, man.
All right, Coach.
All right. Well, that almost wraps us up.
Almost.
We're just missing a couple little things. One, saw a couple of comments on the YouTube channel. You can get Andy's entire system, all the MP4s.
Right.
So those are the videos.
Right.
And I just posted this week the MP3s. So now you can download them, and if you're learning the presentation, put it in your phone, take it with you.
All you got to go is to getbiggergohome.com.
Yep, downloads. Also, register for Keystone. I think we have another graphic for that out there as well. Getbiggergohome.com, Keystone button.
Yeah, Keystone is going to set the tone for 2021.
It does, every single year without fail.
Absolutely.
Right? 2021 is going to be a great year.
Absolutely.
We're excited about it. Trish. Here we go.
All right.
If we're like clear the stage.
Oh, do we need a drum roll?
Yes.
Okay, so Walter, you overachieved. You said you had 71 reported in.
71.
David and Garcia Catan, I don't know why I'm tripping over that tonight. Y'all reported in 77. You had 83.
83 came in.
Overachiever. Well, here's another overachiever. Because we love her and we love you all, honestly. But Belle DeRubio, you reported in you had 85. I had 123.
Well, that's
reported.
All right.
2
weeks in a row.
Come on, Team Bold.
That's it.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Is that a big deal?
That is the big. I think that's the biggest number I've had.
That's the number.
Wow, 123.
Yeah, I have to go double check. But yeah.
That's a new Tuesday night record for sure.
Yeah.
All right, good job.
So,
all right.
Congratulations.
All right, you know the drill.
Everyone.
I want to, Trish will send you, Belda, the cup tomorrow morning. As soon as you get it, take a picture, send it back to us so we can share with everybody what you have been doing. Any other parting thoughts that you might have?
I think, you know what, 2021 starts right now.
Yes.
You know, Andy couldn't say it better. And Keystone will be that launching pad to getting that momentum for 2021. So it starts now. Let's go out there, recruit, recruit, recruit.
All right, well done. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.
All right.
It doesn't matter what you think about in this business, it's all going to take you back to double-digit recruiting. You've got to have a game plan that's focused on growth.
Only in Keystone, baby!
If you're not here, you're missing out.
Because if you get good at talking to people about Primerica, all the other things will follow.
That it wasn't about income, but it was about outcome.
What are you doing with this opportunity? Y'all want more? We decided we want more!
Hey everybody, the road to SNSD goes through Winston-Salem, but it makes a huge stop here in Keystone, Colorado. You cannot miss another trip. It is crucial for you to build a huge, huge business.
This is the place, this is the time, and you're the one.
What a time it is to be in Primerica, to be in this atmosphere, to listen to Gus and Johanna one-on-one, what you need to hear, what you need to know to build your business big.
Where else can you go and rub shoulders and pick the brains of multiple million-dollar earners and millionaires, learn how to come and build a business, leave a legacy behind for generations to come?
And where is that?
Only in Keystone, baby!
This is a red car event. This is for the studs. This ain't for the GP, the general population.
It's great. You have to be around these people.
If you want to build a big team, you got to be in events like this.
SNSD Factory!